think we're about as ready as we're gonna be. Hello out there. Hello, YouTube. For those who have never met me before, hi. My name is Kieran Doyle, and I am a writer, model painter, ASM artist, VTuber, and just kind of a comfy streamer. So, I have been on Twitch for quite a while now, for a little over a year. And in light of recent things that have been going on, haven't really been too much of a fan. So I decided to make the move over here to YouTube and see how it goes. It's been a little bit of a comedy of errors getting things set up on this end, but I think we are live. I think we are functional. So I'm going to probably switch around to a couple of scenes just to test things out. This is a test stream first and foremost. And once I do that, then maybe we'll hit the painting table for a little bit. Or depending on who's here and what they want to hear, I might read a story or something like that. So, we'll see. We'll just kind of play it by ear, see where the night takes us. We're going to be streaming for probably a couple hours, give or take. Alright, so let's first go over to my chatting screen. Nacho, hello! Welcome, welcome. How are we doing? It's good to see you. Alright, so in Streamlabs, my scene does seem to be working perfectly. On the live feed, it's running a little behind. But hopefully, it looks okay on your end. So, everything seems to be working okay. I'm just terrified that the quality will cut out or the stream will crash, because it had a tendency to do that over on Twitch. So I don't see why it wouldn't do it here. Okay. Good. Let's just make sure some assets still work. Wah. Voice is pretty low, but the quality looks good. Okay. So let's turn up the microphone a little bit. That should be a little bit better. And also, I was leaning away from the mic too, as I was fixing some things. So, glad to hear the quality is good. And my mic arm is a little bit loose there. Alright. No more drooping mic. Good. Okay. Alright, so there's our chatting screen. Let's go over... Well, let's just go over to the painting table. Yeah. Hello. Alright. Now I've gone over to the painting table. Although it hasn't done it on my browser. But at least in Streamlabs. Oh, there we go. Here we are at the painting table, and I just guess we'll just kind of go from here. And if something comes up, and we'll deal with it as it comes. I came in tonight fully expecting a cavalcade of scuff, so it's okay. I am frankly amazed that anyone even showed up, but I am very, very happy about that. Okay, so what we got here, we got a bunch of minis. We have here all of the heroes for a couple of board games that I have. The board games being Undercity and Widower's Wood, which are both Iron Kingdom's adventure board games, which are really, really fun. They're super fun. I love them. And all the minis come, like, it's not even pre-assembled. They're just cast all in one piece. So there's no assembly required, and they're all color-coded so you can tell who's supposed to be what. But they are not fully painted. So I've taken it upon myself to paint them, because I thought that would be fun, and it would make the game more dynamic and interesting to have fully painted minis. I don't know if I'm going to be painting all, like, the bad guys, but maybe the bosses and stuff. Definitely painting the heroes, at least. First time as a hero live on YouTube, are we able to do little commands or something like that? I don't think we can, but if we can, that would be awesome. I know that, like, rating isn't a thing here, which is unfortunate, but I was talking to my good friends Miss Lottle and Persephone about having a little, like, informal YouTube rating community where we would just, like, have a little list of other YouTube VTubers and just, like, kind of rate each other by saying to our audience at the end of the stream, okay, everyone go over to this person now. So there's no actual command for it, but we can at least tell people where to go, and hopefully they'll participate. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. So I'm really hoping it works out. I was going into this kind of mortified. I was thinking, like, oh no, like, I basically have to build my viewership almost from scratch, which makes me really sad, because it took a very, very long time to build my viewership up on Twitch, where I think we were somewhere around, like, the 600 mark. I think we were just over 600, and now I'm starting again with currently, I think, 17. I'm currently at 17 subscribers here, so quite a ways to go. But, you know, you gotta start somewhere. Alright, just in the background, I've got some tea brewing. I think it's just about done. So I'm just gonna attend to that real quick. Twitch raid tool breaks so often that we gotta post link. Yeah. There are so many things over on Twitch that are just breaking lately. I can't remember who I was talking to about it. I think it was that Eldritch Grandpa person. It was someone bigger than me, which, you know, could be a lot of people, but they were talking about Twitch and all of its problems, and I said it's like witnessing the fall of the Roman Empire, where it's just become so bloated and corrupt with rot that enemies from without and corruption from within are causing it to crumble, and we're just watching it happen in real time. So yeah, so I decided to be like a rat on a ship and jump ship before it sinks. So I came over here to YouTube, which, you know, trading one corporate evil for another, but in this case I think it's the lesser of two evils. I probably shouldn't be, like, smack talking the new platform on the night I decide to move to it, but oh well. I said what I said. Yeah, I don't know Gramps that well. Just I've seen a lot of their posts and things like that, and they seem to be very, very popular with people. They basically, like, it seems like their mission as a VTuber is the same as mine has been, which is to help people out. So they know what they did. Yeah, exactly. So anyway. So what I'm going to be doing tonight, I guess, since the stream is working and it seems to be holding, which is great, is I'm going to do a little bit of model painting. And I'm going to start by continuing work on the heroes from Undercity. The ones from Widower's Wood I just primed today, and the primer is still a little bit tacky, so I don't want to apply any paint to them just yet, because I think it'll get a little messy. So unfortunately that means Skarg the Voracious here, who is all kinds of cool. I love this model. He's not getting painted tonight. Oops. Neither is Agatha, the Pharaoh Slaughterhouser, or Vasquez, the Circle Druid. Ooh. Or Olo, the Frogman. So those four are not getting painted tonight. You're proud of me? Aw, thank you, Nacho. Thank you so much. Is this like the first time we've talked directly outside of like Twitch and or Discord? I feel like this is the first time we've talked where like one of us is using their voice. In which case that is criminal because we've known each other for quite a while and you're a total heckin' sweetheart. So anyway. Alright, so I also have to figure out table placement here. Alright, so this looks to be a good position. Alright. Yeah, so I probably should mark my table for where like a good midpoint is for the camera. I haven't painted on stream in a while. I haven't done much of any streams lately, between the raid bots and just being busy and lots of technical difficulties. And they talked on Twitter and a few times in Twitter DMs. It was the first time one of those things. Aw, that's awesome then. you're a sweetie. Okay, so the models we are going to be working on, we may or may not get to all of them. I don't know. But we have, so this first one, I'll just turn them upside down. So this is Milo Boggs, and he is sort of a roguish alchemist dude. Throws bombs. It's pretty cool. We have this one, which is actually my personal favorite, so you'd think I would have painted her first, but nope, not yet. This is Canis Gormley, and she is a gun mage. And then we have this big chunky dude. This is Gordek Stonebrow. He's a Trollkin warrior, which I love the Trollkin, so he's actually going to be pretty fun to paint, I think. They're probably one of my favorite races in this universe. And then we have a two quote-unquote man team with Pog, the little gobber mechanic, and his pet Steamjack, which is basically a magic animated robot, and its name is Doorstop. So Pog and Doorstop I have done the most work on, although I've done a fair amount of work on Milo too. He's almost done, actually. And then Canis and Gordek are falling behind. You know how affiliates can't stream on two platforms at once? What if it was a cross-platform? Ooh, possibly. So yeah, so I'm basically just going to look at these guys and see who needs what and what I feel like painting. And I didn't actually pick out all the paints that I needed ahead of time, so I'm going to be like digging around a bit. This is very informal, very scuff. We're just kind of hanging out here. So do not expect me to be super professional tonight. This is all test stream stuff. But yes, the models are extremely small, which is why I'm wearing my reading glasses currently. And you can't see it, but the light that's on the left, I have two lamps shining down on my table to give proper lighting. And the lamp on the left actually has a built-in magnifying glass, so if I had to do really, really small details, I could use that. Although, said magnifying glass is a little bit dirty, so I think I have to clean it. But that can wait. Okay. I'm gonna have some tea, because I have been talking a lot. And I haven't talked much lately, because I haven't streamed much, so my throat's feeling it. Oh, I can't do channel point redeems anymore. Oh, that makes me so sad. I loved my channel point redeems. They were great. I had the head pats. They had the uwu voice. I had the ASMR stuff. I had the ara-aras. Oh, so much good stuff that I can't really do anymore. I mean, I guess I could do them like on request and stuff, but then that would open the door to people demanding things of me. We can't have that. Alright. I think first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take out Milo for a second. And I think I'm going to do some little details on him, because he's almost done. And I kind of want to, I would love to have one of these guys finished tonight. That would be pretty pog. Not this guy pog, but still pog. Okay. Need to try and dig up sprites from an old non-English MMO, so I'll be digging around with you in the background on audio, so feel free to talk about whatever you want. Okay. Talked a bit, but listening to you will help me get... Aw, thank you. Nacho, you're so sweet. I am... You can't see it, but I am head patting the mic. So, by proxy, I am head patting you. Guys, you a heckin' cutie. Alright, so I think first thing I'm going to do with Milo, there are some silver parts on him that I actually don't want to be silver now that I look at him. It looks okay, but the shoulder pads here, and the head of this kind of stick grenade he's got, and I think the front filter of his gas mask, I think I'm going to make all those bronze. You love head pads? Good. Because I give those out pretty liberally. Especially when I'm confronted with a heckin' cutie, like yourself. Okay, so for the bronze, I'm going to be starting with some of this. This, you can't see the label really because it's a bit faded and the light is weird. This is a paint called Drill Bit Metal, which is a nice kind of like dirty bronze kind of thing. And then when I do a highlight, I think I'm going to do Dragon Bronze, which is a lot brighter. And then I'll probably tone that down with something. We'll see. Kind of, I don't really have a specific plan for these guys, I'm just kind of winging it. Actually, I have a question about your hardware. Or Nacho, why are you asking about my hardware during stream? This is a family stream. Oh, you mean like computer hardware? Yeah, that's completely fine. Anyway, I'm just gonna be lightly applying this drill bit metal. First to the head of the grenade. The lighting is not ideal here. I need to get a better light setup, but it is what it is. It's probably not even visible on camera right now. Is my microphone one of the fancy ASMR specific kinds? Feels like I can hear you moving around me, if that makes any sense. I am gonna say it's a wolf. Oh. Just a little bit flirty. And then the shoulder pads are gonna be drill bit metal as well. But to answer your question, I have a Blue Yeti. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's an ASMR specific microphone, but I did get it because I heard that it was decent for ASMR, and it's decent without being one of those really expensive ones like a 3DO. Those like microphones that are a pair of ears. So I don't have the money for that. More like awooga. Oh. Arara. So yeah, so the Blue Yeti has served me well over the past year. I've had it since, I want to say I got it in July of last year. So I've had it a year and a few months, and I have never, ever, ever had an issue with it. It's great. So at some point, if I ever get the money for it, I will probably upgrade to a 3DO or something like that. That would be pretty cool. It would be pretty pog. Huh? I mean, oh no, why are you so embarrassed? Did you just realize how cute you are? I understand. You do Big Sister Ada. Ooh. So are you just realizing what you probably sound like? I'm just gonna do the front grill of this gas mask now. Which I can barely even see, honestly. I think I need to move one of these lamps so I can see a little better. So I think I'm gonna keep the side filters of the mask in silver. Kinda like how that looks. So, oh god, yeah, see, the lighting is really terrible here. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I unlocked the red face button. I'm only now finding out after so long. I really am an eye-opening educator. Oh. Well, since you are my only viewer, I suppose this constitutes a private lesson. It's a little, yeah, that's actually my favorite feature of this model is the kind of acid bombs that are on his belt. I really like them. Yeah, Milo has a really cool look to him. I like him a lot. It kind of looks like Bane. Although he is much smaller and more fragile. But oh my god, he's great. He's so good in the game. He does have a low armor stat, so if he gets hit, like, it's very easy to damage him, and he doesn't have a whole lot of hit points. But he does have a really high defense, which makes him harder to hit. That's great. And he's mostly a ranged fighter. So, yeah. One thing he's really good at, he is so good at clearing out groups of smaller enemies. Because he's got, actually I can show you his character sheet. So, the game comes with character sheets for all of the characters. And of course, getting the light on it. But yeah, here's Milo. So Vitality 6, that's pretty darn low. Canis, the gun mage, she has 7. Doorstop actually has 10 health. Gardak has 8, so he's on the lower end. I think the lowest health person is Pog, the little gobber dude, because he's only got 5. So Milo's just barely above that. Strength 4 is okay. Intelligence and Perception are both pretty decent, 5 and 4 respectively. But then he's got that really high defense, which I like. And then where he really shines is in his combat abilities, I think. Because, so at close range he's got a knife, which is okay, but then he's got throwing knives as well. Pretty decent power. And he's also got his grenades. And the fun thing about this game is if you have multiple weapons of the same type, so in this case he's got 2 different ranged weapons, you can use them all together in the same round. Whereas likewise, Gordek here, he has a shield and an axe, so they're both melee weapons. He can use them both in the same round if he wants. So multiple attacks, always a good thing. And with the grenades, every time you throw one of these babies, you get to pick what type of grenade you're throwing. So you can throw a smoke grenade, which makes you harder to hit. You can throw an acid grenade, which deals very high power to a single target. And it actually deals extra damage against constructs. So if you're fighting enemy robots and stuff, it's really, really good. So he's very, very good at taking down warjacks. And then my favorite is the explosive grenade. It's low damage, but it's an AoE, which means it hits every character on a given space. So if you have a whole bunch of enemies clustered up, then you have a really good chance of taking them all out. It's great. Yeah, so Milo is a lot of fun. And he can deal a very good amount of damage. Actually, I didn't think much of him when I first saw the game, but after playing it a little bit, he is pretty proud. Yes, he brings the kabooms. Yeah, before my my character going into this was Canis, the gun mage, just because I love gun mages as a class. I think it's just a really cool aesthetic. And she's actually very versatile as well. She's got multiple different magic ranged attacks that she can do with her gun. Close up, she kind of stinks. She's got like a dinky old sword and it's not very good at it. But her gun is great. So she's mostly really good at dealing like high single target damage. That's kind of her thing. And she can also knock enemies down. And she's extremely intelligent and perceptive. So on skill checks involving those things, she's great. So I like her a lot. Then as far as the other characters, Gardek, the troll, he's pretty self-explanatory. He's just like a big, chunky meat shield kind of dude. He's very tanky. He just walks up and starts hitting things, and he can take a lot of punishment. And then as far as Pog and Doorstop, they're really interesting because they're a two-man team that kind of function together. Pog's really small and very evasive, but fragile, whereas Doorstop is just, he's a giant robot, so he can just hurl himself into combat and just start wrecking face. So he's kind of the, he's the heavy guns, so to speak. Even though he doesn't have guns, he's all melee. Yeah. Okay, so with Milo, we have done the bits that are going to be bronze. I just have to wash them. So I'm going to be using some Agrex Earthshade brown wash. I'm going to try to be careful in applying it. Which is why I'm using a fine brush, where I normally would use a much larger brush to apply washes. Because I don't want to get any wash anywhere else. There we go. Alright, so that takes care of Milo for the moment. I think the only thing I really have to do on him now, I might do an additional highlight on his cape. But other than that, I have to highlight all the black, because his entire suit under that is all black. So I'm gonna need my dark gray for that. And I always worry, because actually highlighting black is deceptively hard. What do I want to do next? What do I want to do? I could work on Pog and Doorstop. And try to finish them as well. And just leave Gardek and Canis for later. So I do like basically 2 heroes at a time. I guess I could do that. I could do that. First I'm gonna have some tea. Oh, that's really good tea. And I think I got the honey ratio just right. It's always when I'm streaming that I get, like, flooded with notifications. And I've also noticed Streamlabs doesn't show me the chat feed. That's problematic. Hagen doorstop. I think what I'm going to do here, they have a lot of leather bits on them, so I think I'm going to highlight those real quick. And I'm going to do that with this paint, which is oiled leather. I think I'm just going to... Yeah, it doesn't. For some reason, I'm not seeing the chat pop up in Streamlabs, so I have to go like straight to YouTube for it. So I'm going to be kind of sparing with this highlight. With these guys, I'm not going to a crazy level of detail. I'm going like detailed enough. But I'm not going to do them up like I would like a main character in one of my war games. So I'm just gonna kind of feather on some oiled leather here and there. Some quick edge highlighting, not overly picky about it. I think what I could do also, if I don't feel like painting anymore, I could open up the Librum and read from that. I do love doing that. For those unfamiliar, that is the Librum Occultus, which is the personal diary of Zenobia Malderis, the flagship character from my books. She's a lot of fun. She's a really cool character. This light, the way it is, I can't see very clearly where I'm trying to get. So I definitely need to invest in a better lighting setup, I think, if I'm going to be doing a lot of painting streams here. Or just do them earlier in the day, which is not always an option, unfortunately. Outfit. Now there's some leather wrapping on the handle of his wrench. Your dig was successful. Yay! Congratulations. And then one other leather bit at the top of his little hat with his goggles. That should do it for the leather on him. I don't think we're going to go any higher with those highlights. Now, doorstop has a little bit of leather on him. He's got this leather strap on the one arm that I presume is just holding his arm together because he looks very ramshackle. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an edge highlight here. Again, not being too careful. In fact, I think more of a haphazard look would be good for these models, because they are not supposed to be super clean cut. They're mercenaries. They're kind of rough and tumble dudes. And one dudette. So it's okay if their appearance is a little bit on the rough side. I always second guess myself with highlights because they look kind of rough up close, but that's because I'm looking at them up close. I'm not looking at them as they're intended to be looked at, which is from a distance on the tabletop. So they actually, from the proper distance, look pretty decent. And that should do it for the leather bits. From here, where do we go from here? I suppose I could highlight the kind of golden brownish segments on these guys. So for Pog, there's his gloves and his jacket and his backpack, which are all that color. And then doorstop, I kind of like took random armor plates and painted them the same color so they would match. And that color was uniform brown. So I did that, and then I did a brown wash. But I need the highlight colors. We have, yeah, okay. They are on the table. Good. So I don't have to go looking for them. So the mid-tone is this one, green ochre. Which doesn't look very green, but it does look very ochre-y. So we're gonna do that. Let's start with Pog. He's a smaller model. Less surface area to worry about. So we're just gonna kind of do what we did with the leather bits, just little highlights here and there in the raised areas. Anywhere, I think, would benefit from a highlight. There. Something stuck on my brush. I think at some point there's another highlight on Pug's skin that needs to be done to make him a little bit more of a bright green. I still have to decide if I want to go any brighter on these ochre sections. I might do a tiny little touch here and there with the brightest of that triad, which is faded khaki. But I would be very, very sparing with it if I did it to the point where you barely notice. especially on such a tiny dude. So, I really like this color. I've used it for kind of a cloth or backpack color before on other models. I like it. Especially, I used it a lot with my Grimkin, which are the primary army that I collect for the game Hordes, which is all kinds of fun. Okay, so that's all the ogre sections on Pog. Now for doorstep, all those plates that I picked out. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of feather it along the edges of these plates and see how that looks. That might actually be enough. Yeah, I actually kind of like it that way. I'm admittedly not the world's leading expert on highlighting steam jacks. I find them a little more challenging to highlight than other models, because there's a lot of large surface areas. I prefer working with models that have more edges to them, because edges are way easier to highlight. Right, if you're not a model painter, this might not be a super interesting conversation, but it's what I'm doing, so that's what I'm talking about. Bronze, that's bronze. So I think it's just this arm guard here. Which does have a fair amount of edges to it, so that's pretty great. This makes me want to paint more War Machine stuff. War Machine is the companion game to Hordes. The two games work together. Well, not necessarily together, but they're compatible with each other. So you can play a War Machine army against the Hordes army and so on. They function on the same core set of rules. But where they differ is in how the commanders work. They kind of work in opposite ways, which probably sounds confusing. But like the central mechanic of the game is that you have your commander, which if you're playing a War Machine army is a Warcaster, and if you're playing a Hordes army, it's a Warlock. And Warcasters are these elite soldier sorcerers who control Warjacks, the kind of magic-controlled robots. And in Hordes, the Warlocks mentally control savage war beasts. So the way they work is that Warcasters produce a sort of magic resource called Focus, and they distribute it to their Warjacks each round to kind of power them up. Whereas in Hordes, instead of giving power to the war beasts, the Warlocks enrage the war beasts in order to make them produce rage, which they then siphon from the war beasts to fuel their abilities. It's a little more complicated with the Hordes armies, but it's a lot of fun. I actually prefer the Horde side of it, even though the War Machine side is a little more simple. I like big monsters, I guess. Okay, so that's that highlight. I actually don't know if I want to go any further with it. I think Pog looks pretty good as is. I might do up his skin a little more, but that's it. So for that, I'm going to be using this cat's eye green, which is a really nice kind of lime green. If you heard a little sloshing noise just there, that was me shaking up the paint bottle. Always shake up your paints. these the brightest highlight color, so I want to be kind of sparing with this. Just upper areas. Anywhere the light might catch. And I want to probably do a little more on his face, just to make the face more of a focal point, to draw the eye. The eye is drawn to bright colors. I forgot, he has little teeth sticking in his mouth. So I gotta do those. Just get his cheekbones, his ears. He's so cute. I love gobbers. They're great. Yeah, pretty simple highlight job on this dude. All things considered. There we go. Now his face is a lot more visible from a distance. Alright, what I'm going to do at the moment, I do have to take a little bathroom break. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. And I'm back. Round 2, let's go. I'm just gonna take a little tea break first. That's good tea. Alright, so there's a couple of paints that I want to search for here. One, I need a bone color for Pug's teeth. Don't think that's it. Nope. That's, well, this is polished bone, so that might do in a bind. But I would prefer aged bone. If I can find it. Let's see here. Nope. Ooh, I think I just found a better color for the bronze sections. Still no aged bone. Thank you for the welcome back, Nacho. Oh, by the way, if you thought my if you thought my flirty little voice lines earlier were bad, you should have been with us when I did my last snack tasting stream. There was one particular line that I kept saying. It was it was driving people nuts in different ways. Some people really liked it, and some people did not. Or rather, they didn't like it because they liked it too much. Ta-da! I have found aged bone. And we have a polished bone out as well, so we can highlight the teeth if we want. Although I don't know if they're big enough to warrant that. They are very, very tiny teeth. I don't think we have any other bone sections on anyone else that I have to worry about. So. Normally, if I have multiple models that require a single color, I'll do them all at once. Can't figure out where the tooth is here. So, I think I'm just gonna kind of freehand it. It doesn't look too bad. There we go. A very poorly lit pog. Alright, the only other thing I've noticed in the front of his left shoe, the metal plate that's over the toe is broken in one spot, and it looks like his feet are actually exposed. Or his one foot. So I gotta go back and fix that. I'm gonna do that by starting with the base color that I used for his skin, which was this ancient oak, and then from there I'm going to highlight it to Naga green, and then a little dot of the cat's eye green that you saw me use earlier. So we're just going to get some of this ancient oak in a little gap here. And I think I am going to hit it with a little wash. I'm going to use a little bit of my green wash. Bieltan green. Once that dries. And then highlight it afterwards. A little time consuming, but still fun. Another second to dry. In the meantime, how's Milo doing? I think he's looking spiffy. So I think it's a good time to highlight him. Highlight the metal on him. Specifically the bronze. So I had a color picked out earlier, but I might go without it and just use this other color that I dug up. So we have here Clockwork Brass, which is pretty bright, but I think it would be okay. I think. I don't know. We'll find out. So I'm just going to do a little bit. A little bit on the brush. Looks okay. metal bits. It looks okay. I think I'm probably going to bring it down with a wash later. Maybe. Actually, you know what? That doesn't look too bad. Pog, I don't think has any of that on him, but Doorstop does. Has quite a bit, actually. So I'm going to apply this clockwork brass anywhere we have any of the bronze parts. So the edge of his shield here. Not being too careful, I'm just kind of running the brush lightly over that area. These plates with the holes in them. Lightly running the brush over to brighten them up. This kind of access plate here, which I believe leads to its cortex, which is its kind of magical mechanical brain. Brighten that up a little bit. And yeah, I probably am going to have to apply a little bit of a wash in spots here. The clockwork brass is very bright. A little bit of trim on his mace. So what I think I'll do is go back to these bronze sections and hit them with the brown wash, which is what I did after the base coat. And just do that to bring the colors down. And then the trim on his head. There's bronze plates on the undersides of his arm. Touch that a little bit. Doesn't look too bad. I also realized there's a khaki plate here, or an ochre plate, whatever. I did not highlight. Fix that now. There we go. So Doorstop's looking pretty spiffy. The only thing left to highlight on him is his green sections, which are a much different green than I used for Pog. So, for Doorstop's green sections, I used Muddy Olive as the base coat, and then I hit it with this Athonian camo shade. Kind of almost a brownish green. So, the next step up from Muddy Olive is this one with a fading label. This is olive green. It does really, yeah, it really does look like an olive, which I hate. I don't like olives, which is funny because I was raised in an Italian family. So I just can't stand terrible food like that. Alright, I'm just gonna kind of do what I did with the ochre plates. Just kind of go around edges. I think a little too much water on my brush right now. Feathering along the edges. A bit there. I'm glad this test stream is going okay. Everything seems to be working properly. We had a couple little hiccups right at the beginning, but those seem to have worked themselves out. So it sounds like it should be good to go for future YouTube streams. I just have to get the word out about my channel. Pretty nice edge on this elbow guard here. We're getting there. It's a lot of patience to do model painting. Patience in practice. As Baron Zemo would say, patience and experience. A man can do anything if he has those. Slowly going around with our edge highlights. And once we do that, the doorstop will be pretty much complete. I might go back later, maybe off camera, and put in some final little details. Like there's a bunch of bolts sticking out of them in random places, usually around like the edges of armor plates. What I might do is just quickly touch up those bolts in silver. Just to make it look like those bolts were kind of freshly put in to replace pieces. I don't think I'm going to do much in the way of rust effects though, if any. Because, I don't know. I don't see, even a mercenary company, I don't think want to send a rusty steam jack into battle. Although I will say, painting rust effects is really fun. And I enjoy doing them when the situation warrants it. Like with Warhammer, if I'm painting Nurgle dudes, I'm pretty generous with the rust effects there. Rot and weathering. Okay, I think I should almost do it. The only other place maybe here around these little dents in the shield. Just to kind of draw attention to it. This midline divider here. And a little bit on his head. And that should finish off doorstop. So Not too bad. He's looking pretty swanky. Alright, so doorstop is done. Pog is pretty much done, I think. I think he's, yeah. Except for his foot. He just finished off his foots. So I'm gonna hit that with the wash. And then once that wash dries, I'll just highlight his foot really quick. Is Milo doing? I think Milo's doing pretty good. Like I said, the only thing really left to do on him is highlight the black of his uniform, and then I also want to highlight his skin. Draco, hi! Welcome, welcome! Good to see you. It's going pretty good. Had some hiccups early on with some technical difficulties. We crashed in the first couple minutes, but after that, it's been pretty smooth sailing, actually. Surprisingly so. I expected a lot more to go wrong. This is my first time ever streaming on YouTube. Alright, so to highlight the black, we're going to need some Stormy Gray. Oh, and by the way, now I'm being watched by a professional model painter who's actually, like, good. I'm just kind of derping around over here with these models. These aren't like, I'm not painting them to a crazy standard or anything. I'm just kind of painting them to the point that I'm happy with them. Some pro-level painting techniques here. We're just kind of making them up as we go. But you're painting them, so they'll be good. I'm okay. I'm like, I would say I'm at this point kind of intermediate. Definitely not masterclass level. And I don't think I ever will be, which is fine. All I've ever wanted out of my models is for them to look good enough for me. Like, decent enough that when I have some friends over to play, they can look at my models and be like, oh man, that looks cool. So I'm just kind of guesstimating. Alright, and then the edges of his cloak I did in black, so I'm just kind of lightly edge highlight in some places with the gray. Just barely going to be noticeable, but... yeah, so Draco and Nacho, you guys are my first two guests over on my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate it. Like I was saying earlier, like, the biggest bummer about moving to YouTube was the thought that I would have to rebuild my viewership from scratch. Because I only have like 16 or 17 subscribers here, because I never used this channel until now. Every person that shows up here to hang out with me is going to be showered with appreciation, whether you like it or not. The OGs now. over on Twitch, I know exactly who they are. There were 2 people of note that stumbled into my first test streams on Twitch in July of last year, or maybe late August. And those 2 people I am still friends with today. One of them is Yurina. She's a really, really talented artist. And the other is my wonderful friend Eleanor the Bat Queen, whom I love very, very much. So yeah. So you guys have joined some very esteemed company there. Alright, so Milo is almost all highlighted. I just have to highlight a little of his gas mask here. Kind of straps on his noggin. Probably a little too much gray there, but whatever. Too much water in the brush, that's the big issue. A little better. Okay. That should about do it. Just his skin now. So I'm gonna... Skin always comes out looking weird for me, so I'm gonna highlight back up with the fair shadow that I used to base coat it. And if just a couple little spots of that should be okay, actually. Yeah, I think that'll be plenty, actually. I don't need to go crazy with the skin. A bit on his dome here. The other side of his face, and he should be good to go. And there we have I want to say finished Milo Boggs, but I can't because I just want to highlight his acid bombs a little bit. Just gotta put a little bit of this dungeon slime. Just a very, very, very tiny amount. Just kind of highlight them up a little bit. Make them look nice and glowy. That's better. So now we have a finished Milo Boggs. And we also pretty much have a finished Poggin doorstop, so there we go. 2 out of 4 heroes / 1 robot. Pretty much done. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover their bases with a little black just to cover up any paint that got onto them. And then they do have lines on the sides of their bases to indicate their front and back arcs, which doesn't matter for Undercity at all. That's not part of the rules. But if I were to use them in War Machine and Hordes, then front and back arcs would matter. But let's be honest, I'm probably not going to use them for that, so I might not bother. And I have a kitty who's meowing to be let out of my room, so I might have to... Yeah, I heard you. Alright, 1 second. I'm just gonna let the kitty out. And the kitty has been let out. Okay. Ugh, the stream continues uninterrupted. That's the thing, I'm probably gonna munch a little bit while I'm here. You can hear her. Yeah, that was Cleo. She's an old lady cat. She's very grumpy. Okay. Alright, so let's get out the pure black. Just to do the bases. I have 20 subs now. Oh my god. I'm just 30 away from affiliate. Wait. Oh, Twitch. You and your nonsense. Okay. This is a really quick and easy step. I'm not doing complex base work. I'm not covering them with basing material or anything like that. Just plain old black bases. But thank you very much, everyone who has subbed to my channel so far. You are all heckin' wonderful. And pretty darn cute, if I must say so myself. We're making good progress here, I think. Although I did do most of the base coats and stuff off camera, so most of what I've done tonight is just some detail work. The bases. Okay. Done and done. Alright. Pog, doorstop, and Milo. Done. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good, good. Making progress. This calls for a tea break. So next on the docket will probably be, well, I did say earlier I'm going to be painting Canis and Gardic at the same time. Although they do have different color schemes. And I do have to dig for their colors because I actually didn't anticipate getting to them tonight. I thought, especially Doorstop, I thought he was going to be a lot more work than he was. But, Alright. I'm almost out of tea, so I think I'm just going to finish up this cup and make another one. There we go. Kettle's boiling. Alright, so... Oh, you know what? I didn't do the highlight on Pog's foot. I kept talking about doing it, but I never actually did it. I'm all over the place today. Okay, so we're going to use some of this Naga green and do that real quick. As the dogs go crazy in the background. Arf. That is donezo. So now we have our next victims, Gardak and Canis. One thing I already know I have to do. So with Canis, I've base coated her skin and washed it, but I realized there's a whole section of skin that I didn't get, and that is along her the upper chest area. So I'm going to use some of that fair shadow, since that's already on the palette. I'm just going to get in there real quick. I'm probably going to need to apply a second coat there, so I'm just going to let that set for a second. Meantime, I can look at Gardak and see what I want to do for him. So I know he's going to have a lot of that bronze that I've been using for the others. That'll be like one of the unifying colors. That and probably bits of black, because they are from the Black River Irregulars mercenary company. Hear static-like sounds that you kettle. Yeah, it's probably the kettle that you hear. Before we had pomegranate, I think we are going to switch over to lemon ginger because that is caffeine free. It's getting pretty late here. It's about 8:30, which I know is not overly late, and if this was the weekend I would just keep streaming into the wee hours of the night. But I do have work tomorrow, and my wake-up time is ungodly because I am a teacher. Steep for a little bit. So what I might do with Gardak, he has a lot of metallics because he has a lot of armor, and then probably some leather bits here and there, and then he's got his kind of sash thing that a lot of trolls have. And I'm probably gonna have that be black. I'm not gonna go too crazy with it. Got out your bath. We gotta go for that. Oh, okay. It was really good to see you, Nacho. Thank you so much for coming in here and keeping me company. The waves are calling me. Of course, I understand. Don't worry. I'm probably gonna stream like another 30 minutes to a half hour tops. So you won't be missing too much. I'll just be working on these two jokers here. Speaking of which, gotta add a second layer to Canis' skin. I might actually need to do a third layer, honestly. I think of these heroes, these 5 models, I think she's probably going to be the hardest to do. Just because she is the most, like, thin and delicate. So a lot of little fine details. Keep up my good work. That is bold of you, Nacho, to assume that I have been doing good work. Okay. Oh. Okay. So Candace's color scheme is actually pretty simple. She's got like a white shirt and then like a black kind of skirt thing going on. And then most of the other details on her are leather. So I'll be using my standard leather colors. And then the only other exceptions really, a little bit of metallic on her gun. I'm probably going to use mahogany for the handle. And then the lining of her cape and hood here are going to be purple. So for a little bit of color. Okay. And like I said, Gardak is mostly metallics. And a little bit of leather. So, just kind of mentally preparing in my head here. So let's see here. Is that dry? Yes, the skin is pretty much dry, so I'm just gonna hit that really quick with my Reichland Flesh Shade. I can't words. A little too much of it, I think. Just gonna drag that off. That's a little better. Let's see. Gardeck. I think I'm gonna do his metallics. I want to say. Yeah, I'll start with the silver metallics on him. I'll use a base coat brush that I don't really care too much about, because I just want to get the color on there. And we're gonna go with, where is it? Where did I put it? Yeah, Shadowed Steel. And I'm not going to be too picky about where this goes, since it's mostly armor plating that we're looking at. So like on the shield, I'm probably just going to base coat the entire thing with silver, and then pick out individual sections to be other colors. And now that I'm painting this, I can see attached to the shield are some ropes with some stones, which is a standard Trollkin aesthetic. Painted many stones in my day, because I actually, when I started collecting hordes, the Trollkin were the first army I collected. So I actually have a ton of trolls, and most of them are painted. Although the color scheme I'm going for with Gardeck is a lot different than my trolls' color scheme. My trolls I call the purple people eaters. So they have purple skin, and all trolls have like these stone-like growths on their skin. So this troll is going to be in standard Trollkin colors. The stone-like growths are going to be kind of a grayish rock color, whereas on my purple people eaters, they were actually painted up more like these turquoise-colored crystals. So it was a really nice color contrast. But here all the rocks you see are going to be a standard grayish color. I'm going to be using my Shadowed Stone trio, which is sort of a warm gray. It's gray with a little bit of brown in it. Alright, paint his chest plate here. Some of these plates I'm going to be picking out in bronze later, and that's perfectly okay. And some of them I might actually do as more maybe leather plating almost in some areas. I think that might look kind of cool. We'll see how he turns out in the end. Like I've mentioned to anyone in the audience, one of the things that I'm really sad about with the move to YouTube is my channel point redeems are no more, which means no more paying for head pats, and no more paying for ASMR time, No more ara-aras. Such is life. It is what it is. And also no revenue for a while, which makes me sad. But oh well. This arm guard here, I'm probably going to do the whole arm guard in bronze. But for now we'll make it silver. Just so I can, honestly, just so I can see detail. It's really hard to see the detail when it's all black. What I'm going to do is I'll do all these bits in silver and then hit it all with a black wash, and that'll really help the details pop. Okay, that means you do it when you want to. Well, yes, but I don't want to give too much fan service. Who wants to hear my ASMR voice anyway? Or hear me gently whisper ara ara in their ear. I'm getting flashbacks painting this guy. He looks a lot like one of my Trollkin warders, which are kind of the defensive heavy infantry in the Trollkin army. Make us work for it. Yeah. If I get as many subscribers as I had followers on Twitch, I could do an entire Ara Ara stream where I just spend the entire time speaking in a suggestive voice. Got these little metal bits on his head. One weird thing about trolls is they all have, instead of hair, they have these head quills, which look like mohawks. His are probably going to be red, I think, just for a little bit of color. I would do them in orange, but I'm going to have Canis, she's a redhead, so her hair is going to be more of an auburn orange shade. I don't want them to look exactly the same. Was it 8:45? Okay, good. I'm gonna finish making up my tea real quick and then chug it before bed. made. Oh, it smells amazing in here right now. The lemon ginger tea. It smells super good. Alright. So. Done metal. Most of it. This little elbow pad here I'm probably going to do in bronze. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I'm going to hit Gardic with a black wash. Which is going to be kind of heavy. And so we'll probably not touch him again after this for the night. Because we got to give him time to dry. Oh. We lost stream for a second there. So it wouldn't be one of my streams if it didn't crash a lot. Sigh. So I think a lot of it has to do with the quality of my internet connection here at home, which unfortunately I can't do a lot about. I wish I could, but unfortunately I'm pretty much stuck with this particular speed of internet for a while. You can hear me? That's good. Good. Well, it's good if you like my voice. If you don't, then you're straight out of luck, my friend. By the way, Draco, these board games that I'm painting these guys for, super fun. Just so you know, in case some nearby VTubers wanted to stop by for some games, just saying, hypothetically. It is a game for 3 to 4 players, so I think the numbers work out pretty well. Oh, good tea. It's really good for the throat, too. It's all lemony. Yeah, and that does beg the question of which game would be played, because there are two. There's Undercity, which has the characters that I'm painting right now, and there's also Widower's Wood, which is, you play more as residents of the uncivilized parts of Immorin. I actually have the models here. So the main character, quote-unquote, is this dude, Olo. He's a croak, a frogman. And then there is this guy, Vasquez, who's a druid of the Circle Orboros, so a little magical dude. There is Agatha, who is a pharaoh, which are like boar people. She's got 2 guitars and is very, very killy. And then there's this guy, who is like my personal favorite of the group, who is Skarg the Voracious, and he is a Tharn, which are like these kind of beastly barbarian types. And he's a straight-up archer, and he's got some great abilities. I really like him. So yeah, with Undercity, you're mostly fighting like thugs and stuff, because you are in the Undercity. You're kind of delving into the bowels of a major city, major urban area. And eventually you uncover a plot involving the Cephalics, which are these, like, weird, like, creepy almost like Hellraiser-looking dudes who live beneath the crust of the earth, and like they enjoy crafting mindless like thralls out of people and creating these horrible like flesh-stitched abominations. And then for the Widower's Wood team, the more wild dudes, in their case, they are fighting mostly Gatormen, actually, and their minions. There's a Gatorman warlock who has tapped into some forbidden evil magic. So you have to go find him. There's actually in the Widower's Wood book, there's actually, I think in the Undercity book too, there's like complete narratives that you can just read out together, and it tells the story. And each game has, I think, 6 or 7 stages to it, which you can play end to end as a campaign. And in every level, you gain experience, and then you can use those to buy upgrades for your characters in between missions. And so you can really stretch it out, and yeah, it's awesome. I love those games. They're great. Okay. So Gardak has been washed. I'm not gonna really mess with him too much. So I think we're gonna go back to Canis, and I guess what I will do with her is start base coating her shirt. Let's see if I can find the colors for it. Yep, here's the base color that I'm gonna be using. And then a highlight color, and where is my pure white? Is it already on the table? I don't think it is. I don't think I'm gonna get to pure white tonight, but it'd be nice to know where it is. All right. So for Canis, I'm gonna base coat her shirt. It's gonna be white, so I'm gonna start with Weathered Stone, which is a warm light gray. Be kind of careful where this goes. Let me just pull up her character sheet so I know what parts are gonna be white. So, yeah, so her sleeve, collar, midriff, all that's going to be white. I think a lot of this, I'm going to be kind of messy here. And just kind of get weathered stone in a lot of places. Because the rest of her is still in the primer color. I'm not too worried. I just want to get this color down and wash it, and then that, kind of like Gardak with the metal, I want to get the detail brought out so I can tell what's supposed to go where. And yeah, she's got kind of a leather chest plate. So this will help me figure out where that is so I can pick it out. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do her whole upper body in this color. What I probably should have done, because Canis has a lot of bright colors, I probably should have just primed her in white. But coulda, shoulda, didn't I? lot of this is going to be leather here, but oh well. Alright, so I think with Canis I'm going to layer up this weathered stone, get a good base coat on, wash it, and then maybe call it a night from there, honestly. It is 9 o'clock now, almost. Unfortunately, I do have one more night left, or one more day left in the work week. And then 3-day weekend, woo! It's actually a very special weekend here. This weekend is the Situate Arts Festival, which is a big old festival in my hometown, and I usually mosey on over there, if nothing else for the food. Food's pretty good. They used to have a stall that sold chowder and clam cakes, which is so good. I would get that every year. But last time we had the Arts Festival, because we didn't have it last year because of COVID, but the last time we had the Arts Festival, they were not there. And that made me very sad. So I had to settle for a doughboy and a sausage grinder, which, don't get me wrong, those are great. But it's not quite the same. I would ask if you guys wanted to come, but I saw Posworth's chronicle of making himself almost die on fair food, so I don't want to give him PTSD flashbacks. So the fun part is that I actually live right on the edge of where the festival is, so I don't have to drive there or worry about parking. I can just walk down, and whenever I have friends nearby who want to go. I think I'm going to actually be doing a yard sale on Sunday. So I got a bunch of stuff lying around that I don't need, especially if I'm going to be moving at some point. Maybe that'll be fun. Yeah, it is. It is always pretty fun. I usually don't end up buying much aside from food, but it's nice walking around and feeling human after a couple of years of lockdown. Another thing I'm going to do, this front flap of her skirt, I originally painted in purple, because I thought it was supposed to be that. Nope, not so much. It's actually supposed to be black. So I'm just going to cover that. The dogs barked in the background. So honestly, if you guys wanted to come down for the Arts Festival, you're more than welcome. I'd be happy to let you use the driveway. Just, you know, I would expect heavy traffic if you did come by. Okay. Canis is looking okay. Do I want to do her gun real quick? I might do the metallic on it. Some shadowed steel. And later, I'll dig through my paints and find the mahogany to use for the handle of it. And I'm probably gonna do it's probably gonna have a little bit of gold trim on it. Probably get a little bit of her hand by accident, but that's okay. Friend's birthday and possible. Oh, yeah. Okay, no worries. There we go. Silver gun. Her sword, does that have any silver? I don't think so. I'm probably gonna do the pommel and the guard in bronze, I'm thinking, as well as the little, I guess, blade protector or whatever at the end of the scabbard. And then other silver bits like butt buckles and stuff I'll pick out later after I do the belts. Alright, so I think the only thing left to do before I go offline is I'm gonna wash the shirt. So I'm gonna use some Nuln oil. 2 family members passed back to back. Yeah. That's been. I've seen a few posts in the community that are that particular event. I lost my stepmother last year. I remember how that feels. In fact, just got back recently from a get-together where we finally, a year after the fact, got to do a memorial service. Okay, just gonna wash the gun real quick. And that should do it. So that makes the detail pop really nice. You can be able to tell where some of this leather is. And there's gonna be a bunch down here on the black. So, okay. Not too shabby for less than 2 hours work. So we finished Pog, the Gobber mechanic. We finished his pet Steamjack doorstop. And we finished the Cutthroat Alchemist Milo Boggs. And then we got some progress done on Gardeck and Cass, so yeah, I would call that a pretty successful night. And a fairly successful test stream, actually. We had a much bigger turnout than my old test streams on Twitch. So if that's a sign of things to come, then I'm pretty happy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with them. It's not, I wouldn't say they're the finest models I've ever painted in my life, but for being, you know, not super high quality sculpts because they were just mass produced for the board game, we did pretty okay with them. It's not like made of material that's especially conducive to painting, unfortunately. It's like a very soft, flexible plastic that is kind of yucky to work with, but the colors went on pretty good, and once I seal them up, they won't rub off, so I could do another painting stream and try to get Gardeck and Canis finished. We'll see. And I think I think the stream is crashing again, so this is a good time to call it. I don't know if anyone else is streaming right now. At least not on YouTube, I don't see anyone. So, unfortunately, I cannot direct a raid from here. So, what I think I'm going to do is just call it there. We'll go without a raid today. But that will not be a sure thing forever. Yeah, so for now, I will just bid you guys good night. I will once again thank you all for coming. I really, really appreciate it. It really means a lot to have people here. So, have a good night. Be good out there, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.